still left on the line, and every game is vital with a share of the Big Ten title at stake, and NCAA tournament chances in play as well. In second place currently, the Michigan Wolverines come to West Lafayette to take on the third-place Boilermakers of Purdue, who have won their last 10 games here at Alexander Field. Brett Douglas joining you alongside my partner Connor Hoke. And Connor, the last time two 30-win teams faced off in West Lafayette was 25 years ago. What's expected in Game 1 tonight of this three-game series?
This is a huge series for both teams. As you take a look at the Big Ten standings, Minnesota sitting atop, but within 2 games, both Michigan and Purdue, a lot of jockeying at the top of this conference for next week's tournament in Omaha. And more importantly, these are 2 teams both in the top 50 of the RPI looking to try and add a series victory to bolster that resume as we head towards postseason play.
As you see, Tanner Andrews will get the start for the Boilermakers, and the right-handed pitcher makes his 14th start this season with a 5-4 record, as you see on your screen, and a nice ERA, Connor, of 2.97.
Yeah, it's important that Tanner gets off to a quick start, gets ahead in the count against a pretty potent Michigan Wolverine lineup, especially at the top of it. We've got a number of players batting over 300 in that lineup, especially you look at that 1 through 4, everybody batting up over 300. It's going to be a top-heavy lineup. It's a good Michigan team that really is going to give Purdue troubles, and it's important that the man on the mound in Tanner Andrews is able to take care of business.
Jordan Wogu will be the first batter he faces, and Wogu took home the honors of Big Ten Freshman of the Week last week on Monday. And he will lead things off here. As you see, his big body, 6'3", Connor.
Yeah, Wogu's certainly an imposing figure in the box, batting .398 on the season, has started 30 games this year. Just a freshman, a local product from Ann Arbor, attended Pioneer High School, leading off for the Wolverines.
Tanner Andrews throws a ball to start things off here in West Lafayette on a beautiful sunny day and a great day for baseball. And this one is a big one. It's important for each team to get off to a good start in this series.
Yeah, Purdue currently sitting on the bubble for the NCAA tournament, need to get 2 or 3 games from this series and then have a strong showing in the Big Ten tournament next week. And as Wogu grounds one over to Tyler Powers, and that'll be the first out. And with that, we'll go ahead and take a look at the Boilermakers in the field behind Tanner Andrews. At first, we've got Jackson McGowan. At second, Tyler Powers, who just made that play. Shortstop, Harry Shipley. Evan Warden at third. And left, it's Ben Nissel. Center field, Skylar Hunter. In right, Alec Oland. And then behind the plate, Nick D'Alessandro.
D'Alessandro making his 24th consecutive start behind the home plate, as you see Dominic Clementi step in the batter's box next to him, and he'll take a ball low, take an early lead in the count. But 1 away and a good start for Tanner Andrews, as you see Clementi batting .378 in that designated hitter position. He fouls one off, and that will even the count at 1.
Yeah, Clementi, a guy in that DH spot, a lot of speed. Only 4 home runs on the year, but he's got 6 doubles, 5 triples. So a powerful hitter, able to use his speed then.
And he is going to hit a little blooper, and that is going to fall in fair territory, and it's going to be the first hit of the ball game. So Clementi will single, and you see he's able to take it down the third base line.
Yeah, good swing, just salted off and dropping it over the head of third baseman Evan Warden. And this is a Michigan team that was rolling until last weekend when they ran into a buzzsaw in Illinois, dropped 2 of those 3 games, needed extras to pick up that Sunday rubber match and avoid the sweep. Gave up 10 runs apiece in those losses on Saturday and Sunday. Or excuse me, Friday and Saturday.
Andrews throws one into the dirt to Jonathan Engelman, the center fielder, batting .367, 6 home runs, 43 RBIs this season for the junior. No seniors in the lineup for this Michigan team, and they have a lot of talent.
Yeah, this is a young group, like you said, very talented.
Engelman sends one deep to center field, but tracking it is Skylar Hunter, and he makes the grab for out number 2.
Nice job by Skylar Hunter out there. Able to track that ball down in the wind and in the sun. 2 away now. As Jesse Franklin's going to come to the plate. Franklin batting .315 on the year, has 9 home runs, 9 doubles, 45 RBIs. So Franklin having a tremendous season at the plate. Kind of a mirror image to Purdue's own first baseman in Jackson McGowan. A lot of power.
The lefty takes ball 1 for his first pitch. And Clemente still stands on first. Clemente has stolen 2 or 3 bags this year, but not one of the top base runners on this Michigan squad.
Yeah, this is a lineup that really towards the bottom of it likes to try and run a little bit more than at the top. We talked about this is a top-heavy lineup as far as batting average and power.
The 2-0 pitch is going to be fouled off to move the count to 2-1. 2 away here in the top of the first as Tanner Andrews tries to secure out number 3 for the Purdue defense.
Another one fouled back. So the count stays at 2. The Boilermakers picked up a midweek victory on Tuesday against a very good Oral Roberts program from the Summit League. Michigan has not played since that Illinois series, so they've had almost a week to kind of sit and think about what happened as Nick D'Alessandro is going to get Clemente on the steal attempt. A tremendous play by D'Alessandro, so the Boilermakers will get out of the first inning with no score given up. We head to the bottom of the first. Purdue coming to the plate for the first time today.
Before we come back with Tommy Henry taking the hill for the Michigan Wolverines, check out Nick D'Alessandro with the cannon arm. Don't run on Deli.
Death taxes and Nick D'Alessandro throwing guys out at second base, Brett. One of the biggest arms in the conference, and you're absolutely right. Don't run on him. You just can't run on him.
So Tommy Henry taking the hill. It's his 14th start of the season, and he has a 7-2 record with an ERA of 3.28 as he throws strike 1 past Harry Shipley, the leadoff hitter for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, Henry, the Friday ace for the Michigan Wolverines. This is a pretty strong bullpen and pitching staff that Michigan's got.
Shipley takes an inside pitch, and that'll even the count at 1. Shipley has reached base safely in 19 straight games at home here at Alexander, as you see the seniors batting .275.
Yeah, Shipley's having a tremendous senior season.
He's going to chop one up the middle, and it's going to get through as Harry Shipley gets a leadoff hit for the Purdue offense. And center fielder Jonathan Engelman had some trouble picking that one up, but Shipley stays on first. And the Boilermakers have that leadoff hit.
Akeo Thomas at second tried to make a play on it, but Shipley just able to squeak it through the infield. And so he'll extend that on base safely streak. And now Nick D'Alessandro will come to the plate. D'Alessandro batting .317 on the year. He's got 2 home runs, 31 RBIs. Deli, as he's known by his teammates, he's got a team-high 15 doubles on the year.
The catcher has had an impressive junior year as he fouls that Tommy Henry pitch back.
Yeah, he's certainly done it on both ends, at the plate and behind it as well. Like we saw in that first inning, able to throw runners out, has really embraced some of the grittier, dirtier aspects of being a catcher this year, and it has helped his game out tremendously as he lays down a bunt foul to make the count 0-2.
Has a lot of speed, too. He tops nationally among catchers with 21 steals and tried to show off his speed there, but like you said, Connor, he fouled off that bunt to move the count to 0-2.
Yeah, Nick D'Alessandro is what you would call an aggressive base runner. He's not afraid to try and stretch a single into a double or try to take second. They're facing a lefty in Henry. Purdue will try to play a ton of mind games at first and really at second and third as well. It doesn't really matter. If when Purdue's on base, they're trying to mess with the pitcher and force them into mistakes, and we've seen that philosophy really become the mantra for Purdue over the last month of the season.
The lefty Tommy Henry has a good look at Harry Shipley, and he's going to deliver. D'Alessandro sent a chopper down the third base line, and a misplay by Jimmy Kerr at third base allows everyone to be safe.
Yeah, Kerr just trying to go to the backhanded glove and just not able to get the ball. As we take a look at it, looks like he just maybe squeezed it too early. It gets away from him. So an error early for the Wolverines puts runners at first and second for Purdue.
And now Skylar Hunter comes to the plate. And the sophomore has reached base safely in 17 consecutive games, has a base safely streak of his own to match Harry Shipley, who you see at the bottom of your screen get a leadoff on second. Henry's pitch delivers for strike number one.
Yeah, and in the field behind Henry, we've got Jesse Franklin at first, Akeo Thomas at second, Jack Blomgren at short, Jimmy Kerr at third, Jordan Wogu in left, Jonathan Engelman in center, and then in right, Christian Bullock, and behind the plate, Harrison Salter. We talked about this is a young Michigan lineup, as they're going to say that ball, I believe, bounced in the box and is foul. So an 0-2 count now for Hunter.
It almost seemed that Hunter bunt hit him. We'll take a second look, and it just bounced back.
Looked like it bounced off of his hand. And this has really been Purdue's MO since really the beginning or the middle of April. This small ball mentality, trying to lay down bunts, being aggressive on the base paths, and trying to force their opponents to make plays. Purdue's not a power-hitting team, not a ton of home runs, not a lot of gap-hitting doubles in the lineup, but they just want to try to go base hit, base hit, base hit, and then maybe they can put something in the outfield and score. And it's worked to great effect. They had a 13-game winning streak. It was the longest in the nation. This is a team that's playing really, really well heading down into postseason time.
Skylar Hunter at the plate. He's the Boilermakers' top hitter by percentage with a .326 batting average. Has a 1-2 count, and he's going to send one back to the mound. They make the throw to third, trying to get Hunter at first now, but the throw's a little late. They get Shipley at third and get out number one as the ball returns to Tommy Henry.
Yeah, tough one. Bounce chopper right to Tommy Henry. Good heads up to throw out the leadoff man and Harry Shipley at third. So now that will bring Jackson McGowan to the plate. McGowan was in a bit of a slump, was 0 for his last 14 at-bats heading into Tuesday's game until he put a single shot over the right field wall into the bullpen.
Picked up his 12th home run of the season, and the junior is batting .305 on the year.
And he's got 49 RBIs. He's been unbelievable in these types of situations this year for the Boilermakers. He's batting, or his slugging percentage is a .569. So he has really done a nice job of coming through in the clutch when Purdue's got runners in scoring position. And we've seen a lot of teams, as a result of it, they're just pitching around him. They're trying to walk him, trying to force him to chase out of the zone. So he's drawn a ton of walks this year as well.
He fans at pitch number one from Henry, who's trying to just get out of this inning without giving up any early runs.
Yeah, anytime in McGowan, if you have 43 walks on the year, that's a sign of respect from opposing pitching staffs. They know you don't test him and you don't put it over the plate.
He had a multi-home run against Maryland, and since that, he's been walked 19 times. As D'Alessandro retreats back to second.
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with Nick D'Alessandro's game. Don't be shocked when we go to this camera angles you're seeing the replay if D'Alessandro is out of screen. He is an aggressive leadoff man. He is trying to mess with the mind of the opposing pitcher at all times, and the lefty and Tommy Henry, that's not going to be a different type of situation.
We've talked about this before, but catchers usually aren't known for their base running ability, but D'Alessandro tops the nation. 21 stolen bases on 24 attempts. That is a solid percentage. And
D'Alessandro's got a lot of what they call swagger. He's certainly got a confidence about himself. He's not afraid of anybody.
The count is 1-1 against Jackson McGowan as Henry looks to deliver. And that will be strike number 2. Caught McGowan looking there.
Yeah, the Purdue contingent here at Alexander Stadium not too pleased with that call.
Grady Smith, our home plate umpire, rules it strike number 2, and the count moves to 1-2. This time he's going to foul one off and stay alive. And just like you mentioned, Connor, D'Alessandro left the screen on that one.
Yeah, he's gonna try to take off on anything hit with some decent contact, and McGowan has been known to do that. Not a guy who's putting a lot of balls in the dirt. Little bloopers, wants to try and put balls out into the outfield, and especially with the one out, don't be shocked if you see him just put something into the outfield and allow D'Alessandro and Hunter to tag up and advance a base.
Henry steps off the rubber, and D'Alessandro just stays where he's at, as he knows he can get back to the bag quickly. Now he'll take a little bit of a lead. That pitch is inside.
Salter comes out of the position looking to try and throw out D'Alessandro, as D'Alessandro was about halfway to third when that ball hit the glove of Salter.
He was nearly past shortstop Jack Blomgren. The count moves to 2-2.
This is a big at-bat for the Boilermakers. It would be huge to try and add a run and get a lead early against Michigan, as the count will go full.
Once again, Salter standing up, and then he was threatening to throw to first and keep Skylar Hunter on the base.
The infield depth pretty deep, respecting the power of McGowan.
The 3-2 from Henry. A swing and a miss from Jackson McGowan, and Tommy Henry and the Michigan Wolverines get out number 2 here in the bottom of the first.
We talked a lot about the fearlessness of Nick D'Alessandro, but Tommy Henry showing no fear against one of the premier batters in the conference, going right at Jackson McGowan, getting him to go down swinging. A great pitch from the sophomore.
Really a gigantic pitch that might come into play later on if he's able to strand these 2 Boilermaker base runners.
So now Ben Nissel coming to the plate with 2 outs and 2 on. Nissel, a freshman. That one's in the dirt.
He plays much older, though, and batting .294 on the season with 45 hits.
And 37 RBIs, second highest on the team behind McGowan. Also 6 home runs, second best as well. So a little bit of pop in the bat of the freshman. You know, he has been a huge addition to this roster this season, has settled things down in left, which has allowed Nick D'Alessandro to move pretty much full time to catcher. And right here, a ball through the gap of third and short is going to allow Nick D'Alessandro to score. So the freshman picks up another RBI as D'Alessandro will score from second. The Boilermakers on top, 1-0.
Able to take it right in between that gap between second and third. And then D'Alessandro rounding the base and coming home for the first run of this ball game, showing off the wheels he has. Skylar Hunter moves to second base. And now Ben Nissel stands on first after that RBI single.
So now Nick Everts will come to the plate. Nick Everts, the DH for the Boilermakers, has gotten the start over the last handful of games. Everts, unlike his counterpart in Evan Kennedy, who is the other primary DH guy for the Boilermakers, a little bit faster, kind of plays to that small ball mentality more so than Kennedy does. Although Kennedy did get his first career collegiate home run in Tuesday's game against Oral Roberts.
And that Oral Roberts game, you were on the call, Connor. It was a battle.
Absolutely, yeah. We talked about it. It was a good program, a 33-win team in Oral Roberts.
Number one in the Summit League.
Number one in the Summit League. At one point, it won 9 straight. It was tied for 4th longest winning streak in the country. We're winners of 12 of the last 13 heading into that game on Tuesday, and they battled against Purdue. As this one's hit hard down the first base line off the wall of the dugout.
Our camera woman down there on the first base line did not flinch. Nerves of steel down there.
Nerves of steel. Nerves of steel.
The count is 0-2 against Everts. Henry will deliver. This one's popped up to short right field, and coming under it will be Christian Bullock, who's going to snag out number 3, but the Boilermakers are able to put one on the board, and they will lead it 1-0 as we head to the top of the second. A foul pitch there by Jesse Franklin will start the top of the second inning as Tanner Andrews takes the hill once more for the Purdue Boilermakers. They were able to score one in the bottom of the first as Nick D'Alessandro came home for Purdue.
And that was exactly the start that the Boilermakers needed. Able to get on top early. We know that Purdue's calling card is that they're an extremely aggressive ball club. Able to get a key hit from Nissel, the freshman, as this one slicing away from Skylar Hunter will be a base hit for the leadoff man in Jesse Franklin.
The left-handed first baseman for the Boilermakers gets a single. And Connor, that one looked like my golf swing.
That's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all, but that's great if you are Jesse Franklin trying to avoid the center fielder in Skylar Hunter.
Michigan able to get that leadoff man on, like Purdue was able to do in the bottom of the first inning. You see a K.O. Thomas coming to the plate, and he has a little play sheet on his belt.
Yeah,
it seemed.
Something you don't see that often. A lot of times you might see guys have something on their wrist, but I suppose maybe a little more comfortable for Thomas. K.O. Thomas having a strong season in that 5 spot. A junior batting .271 on the year. He's got 48 hits, 22 RBIs, 10 doubles.
Thomas will lay down a bunt. Andrews will cover it and make the throw to first. But Thomas is able to move his teammate and Jesse Franklin to second base.
Yeah, so a nice job by Thomas, able to do his job. Gets Franklin up to second in scoring position with one away. And for Purdue, something to watch today that was a bit of an issue on Tuesday. They did have a couple fielding errors. Jackson McGowan dropped a pop-up that should have been a routine out to end the inning. Then Evan Warden, with 2 outs in the 9th, overthrew McGowan at first on a routine ground ball that would have ended the game for the Boilermakers, as this one swung on and lifted into shallow center. It'll be caught by Hunter for the Boilermakers. And so 1 pitch, 1 swing, and an out as Christian Bullock flies out into center.
2 away here in the top of the second as Jimmy Kerr comes to the plate. He had a fielding error in that bottom half of the first, but looks to redeem himself with his bat here with a runner in scoring position on second.
Kerr struggling from the plate this year, 168. But he's got a man in scoring position and a chance to tie this ball game up.
Andrews delivers a strike as Kerr got caught looking there. 1 home run for Jimmy Kerr, 4 RBIs. Has a good opportunity to extend that number.
He does have 3 doubles on his 11 hits, so good power, good pop in the bat, just has to get the ball in play.
Takes a ball on the outside from Andrews. Andrews ready to deliver again. A swing and a miss from Kerr moves the count to 1-2. Looks like all the Michigan players have the play sheet on their belt. It must be a team thing. And interesting, usually you see that in football more often.
Well, it's a good way to try and quickly get your plays called.
Distinguish those signals. A strikeout by Tanner Andrews. Catches Kerr looking for out number 3. Will end the top of the second inning. And the Boilermakers will try to extend their 1-0 lead as we head to the Boilermakers side of things in just a moment. And Tommy Henry will be back on the hill. He's going to face Alec Olin to start things off in the bottom of the second. The kids are out in full force today on this beautiful day.
Tremendous crowd here at Alexander Stadium, as we've talked about at length early on in this game. This is a huge series for the Purdue Boilermakers, looking to reach the NCAA tournament for just the 3rd time in program history.
Arguably the biggest series in Alexander Field history, which has been up for about 6 years now.
Yeah, I think you would be spot on in that. As Alec Olin's going to continue his hot streak with a base hit here to lead off the second. Few people have been swinging the bat better than Alec Olin, batting .353 on the season. This is a guy who pretty routinely has been a sub-250 hitter in his career at Purdue, but this year swinging with a ton of confidence.
And that's senior leadership, Connor.
Absolutely. Had 2 seniors in Alec Olin and Harry Shipley, who offensively have both really struggled before this year, and both of them have picked up their execution tremendously as of late.
Evan Warden to the plate, as Olin will get a bit of lead on first base. Olin has a lot of speed. He's stolen 4 bases this year as Warden takes a ball inside to start his at-bat off.
Warden batting .256 on the year, 1 home run, 22 RBIs.
Second consecutive inning, Purdue's able to get a leadoff man on as Warden takes a ball high.
Olin's got 4 stolen bases on the season, so a threat to try and take second, although against the lefty and Henry, probably won't see too much stealing from first for the Boilermakers, as the hit and run appeared to be on, but Warden dribbles 1 foul down the first base side. Evan Warden, a guy who transferred in from Morehead State and has really excelled with the Purdue Boilermakers in his second year.
Started all 50 games this season at third for Purdue and has been a staple in the lineup batting-wise as well. The 2-1, and Warden will foul it off to even the count at 2.
And when you look at this lineup for Purdue, really only second base has been the big question, you know, as far as consistency. Everybody else has pretty much played since the start of the year, and that has helped Purdue tremendously this year. Just the continuity, the consistency. You start to trust the guys when you're the pitcher on the mound, or even vice versa. When you're in the field, you start to trust your pitchers.
Warden sends a blooper over Henry's head, and he's able to beat the throw. Everyone is safe as Alec Olin moves to second, and Evan Warden shows off a smile as he's able to beat the throw there.
Evan Warden knows that this won't win sexiest single of the year, but better to get on base than to get thrown out, and that little blooper over the head of Tommy Henry will do it.
He will take it as the Boilermakers now have 4 hits on the day after that little blooper that stayed in the infield.
And that's a tough play for Michigan because it's just kind of hanging in the air and you're trying to get underneath it.
So tough for a lefty pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over your right-handed shoulder.
Right, and you're falling away in a way that's such that you've got to plant your foot in the ground and change your momentum to chase after it. A fortunate play for the Boilermakers puts runners on second and first. Now Tyler Powers come to the plate. Powers, a freshman, has really picked up his game at the bat, or with the bat rather, over the last couple weeks. Has struggled, you can tell. Just a freshman trying to get used to playing at this Division I level, especially a guy in Powers who, went to high school at a small school in Lafayette and Central Catholic, not a huge school, so you can, when you try to go to that Division I level, there can be a bit of an adjustment.
Harrison Salter is going to discuss things with his pitcher for a moment. Now he'll return behind home plate, and Powers will step back in the batter's box. Powers showed bunt and fouled one off to move the count to 0-1, and we'll see if he tries to advance the Purdue base runners.
Powers does have pretty good speed.
A throw to second will keep Oland close on the bag.
Oland's another guy similar to Nick D'Alessandro, going to take some sizable leadoffs. And Purdue really is just gone with this idea of they're going to be super aggressive in their base running, and they're going to force teams to make plays. And so far it's worked for them.
Head coach Mark Wazakowski is not shy, sending his runners different places.
And it's going to be tough, though, against a team like Michigan, who's pretty sound fundamentally and disciplined. You're not going to force them into a ton of into errors. Not a ton of unforced errors. They're going to make the plays.
Count moves to 2-1 against Powers at the plate. Shortstop Blomgren is playing really close to the bag.
Yeah, everybody's in the infield. As a 3-1 count now for Powers.
And now in this scenario, the Boilermakers with the lead in the count at the plate and base runners on first and second, no outs. They can take a gamble, Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. And you may see them lay down a bunt. Powers doesn't have a ton of power in the bat, so you don't want him to ground out into a double play and really put you in a tough spot.
The 3-1 from Henry. A bunt is placed down, but it dribbles foul down the third base line. As the count moves to full now.
Bunt looked like it had solid contact off the bat, just kicked left and foul. So now, like you said, a full count. It's going to force Powers to at least take the bat off the shoulder and take a cut at it. As it looks like Henry wants to change out the balls.
Big moment for Tommy Henry on the mound, as he doesn't want to give up any more runs, as he's already given up one, which is the difference so far. This pitch is inside, and that will load the bases as Tyler Powers takes his base.
And Powers did a really nice job of making that strike zone as small as possible at that at-bat, forcing Henry to try and throw something in, and you can see just inside and below the knees.
Great at-bat for the freshman, and now bases are loaded for senior Harry Shipley, but Before that will take place, a mound meeting will ensue for the Michigan Wolverines.
And this is a big spot for the Michigan Wolverines. Purdue's got the bases loaded. If the Boilermakers are able to put a couple across the plate, this lead all of a sudden stops becoming a manageable one-run lead, and all of a sudden you could be looking at a 3 or 4 run lead for Purdue, and this is the situation that Purdue wanted to put Michigan in. So Henry, with nobody out in a tough spot, he's going to have to find a way to respond, either getting a strikeout or a shallow pop fly, or at best you can hit it, force Purdue to hit into a double play. The one thing you absolutely can't afford to do, though, is walk Harry Shipley, or, in Shipley's case especially, can't let him get hit by a pitch. Shipley's one of the best in the conference at getting hit by pitches on the year.
15 times, Connor.
Yeah, he leads the team in hit by pitches. He really loves to crowd that right side of the plate.
Especially tough for a left-handed pitcher, throwing to the left-handed batter. Shipley will swing on the first pitch and send it to deep left field. Tagging will be Oland. He's going to come home, and he will make it safely as he crosses the plate for the Boilermakers' second run of the ball game.
So Shipley with the sac fly, able to put it out into left field, but that will bring Oland across, like you said, and the Boilermakers on top 2-0 with 1 out and runners still on first and second, and Nick D'Alessandro coming to the plate.
Shipley picks up his 22nd RBI of the season on that sacrifice fly.
Nice team play there by the senior.
Now D'Alessandro, like you mentioned, to the plate.
I was a little surprised, though, that Shipley went on the first pitch. Thought maybe he'd try to force Henry to throw some pitches and at least show that he could put a couple in the strike zone.
D'Alessandro got caught looking on that Henry off-speed pitch to move the count to 0-1.
And Henry's got a good off-speed. It has really affected the Boilermaker batters early on in this game.
Now he gets D'Alessandro to fan. And D'Alessandro in an 0-2 hole at the plate. Warden on second.
Tyler Powers at first. This is exactly the opportunity that Henry was looking for. Get up in the count. Now you can go into your bag.
He gets D'Alessandro to foul one off to stay alive. Count remains 0-2. And if you're on the mound and you're Tommy Henry, you got to be thinking, if I'm able to get out of this inning with the bases loaded with no outs and only give up 1 run,
that's a win. That is a win. Absolutely a win.
The 0-2 from Henry. Sent to shortstop by D'Alessandro. Michigan tried to turn 2, but off the bag was first baseman Jesse Franklin.
Yeah, Akeo Thomas, the second baseman, off the underhand shovels. We're going to take a second look at it. Just threw it a little wide of the bag. Not even really affected by the slide of Powers. Just missed his mark, basically. And like you said, forcing the first baseman and Franklin to step off the bag. That's a fortunate bounce for the Boilermakers of what should have been a double play and out of the inning. Now you've got runners on the corners and Skylar Hunter with a chance to add to this lead.
And D'Alessandro with the speed at first. Might be aggressive here with 2 outs. We'll see what Coach Wazakowski decides to do with him. Hunter is going to swing at the first pitch, and he's going to ground out to shortstop. So Tommy Henry is able to get out of the jam by only giving up 1 run. The Boilermakers do get another one, and they lead it 2-0. Tanner Andrews has been excellent for the Purdue Boilermakers so far on the hill. As you see, Pact Alexander witnessing him throw a scoreless 4 innings so far. And he starts this top of the 5th with a strike past Jimmy Kerr. Kerr 0 for 1 on the day. He's going to foul one back.
And it does feel like both these pitchers in Henry and Andrews have started to settle in and taking command on the mound.
We talked about it in the break, Connor, that Henry, after giving up 2 runs, you can start to get flustered, and he has not shown that at all.
Yeah, he's if anything, he started to look more comfortable. And I think that double play helped him. He really looked good in that last inning, that top of the bottom of the 4th, rather.
The count moves to 1-2 against Jimmy Kerr as Andrews delivers. Just outside, will move the count to 2-2.
Second straight pitch that is just missed on the outside. I don't think Andrews has agreed with either of them.
The senior takes a deep breath, and now he's ready to deliver. Kerr staying alive, and he'll foul one all the way back into the parking lot.
This is really the first time that we've seen Michigan at the plate being able to battle against Andrews. This is what they've got to do. Andrews becomes vulnerable the longer that he's out there. He starts to wear down.
Kerr hits a blooper. Coming in for it is Warden, who makes a nice throw to secure out number 1 for the Purdue defense. A good response from Warden, not letting that at bat as he was caught looking to affect his play defensively.
And a tough play, too. Coming in on the run, having to field that up and make an accurate throw without your feet really getting set. And for Michigan, they just continue to struggle to get guys on base.
A swing and a miss there from Harrison Salter. Salter 0 for 1 on the day as well.
Salter, only a freshman. 3 freshmen in the starting lineup, or excuse me, 4 freshmen in the starting lineup for Michigan. So the future very, very bright for this program.
No seniors in the starting 9, which is very impressive.
And in Tommy Henry, you've got a sophomore as well. So not even a veteran presence starting on the mound today for the Wolverines. Even still to be a 30-plus win team, as this one's lifted by Salter into right. Alec Oland is underneath it, and he'll make the catch for the second out.
Oland rocking the sunglasses out there in right, as the sun is very bright today over West Lafayette, and we hope it stays that way the rest of the weekend, as we've seen some rain being forecasted in the next 2 days.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to have weather get in the way of a terrific series.
Jack Blomgren is up next, and he's going to swing at pitch number 1 and drive it foul. And he got a piece of that one, Connor.
Yeah, it was a hard hit ball, just not able to keep it in fair play.
Blomgren 1 for 1 on the day.
Blomgren, despite the batting average coming into today's game, we talked about it, does have some pop in that bat.
Count moves to 1-1 after that Andrews ball. The delivery. It's hit to Shipley at shortstop. He makes the throw to first, and Tanner Andrews takes the Wolverines down in order. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th, and Purdue leads things 2-0. Packed house here at Alexander Field, and they are seeing a good ball game as Purdue leads Michigan 2-0 so far. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Tommy Henry, returning to the hill for the Wolverines, has pitched 2 consecutive scoreless innings against the Boilermaker Bats. He faces the top of the order in Harry Shipley. And he will deliver a strike past Shipley.
It'll be interesting to see as both these pitchers start to settle in just how big were those 2 runs for the Boilermakers early before Henry was able to collect himself and assert his dominance on the mound.
There are some bodies in the Michigan Wolverine bullpen, but they're all sitting down watching their starting pitcher, Henry, go to work.
And after last inning, there's certainly no reason to really have anybody going, as this one's hit hard into the stands.
And that's one where you have to just take cover.
Yep. Yeah.
A hard hit ball by Shipley.
That is the drawback to sitting outside of the screen that kind of encompasses the backstop. As Hunter's going to get back out onto the mound.
We hope everyone's okay, as Henry will deliver the 0-2. Shipley is able to get a hit, his second single of this ball game. And the senior showing that leadership once more with the bat.
And once again, the Boilermakers with the leadoff man on.
Now Nick D'Alessandro, who's 0 for 2 on the day, but he was able to reach safely on a fielder's choice and score one of the Boilermakers' 2 runs. It's a 6'1" catcher steps to the plate. Harrison Salter standing up behind home plate. He gets the signal from the dugout, then relates it to the mound and Tommy Henry. Henry will cause D'Alessandro to foul one off, and D'Alessandro able to get a piece of that ball.
Another well-hit ball from D'Alessandro. That one just goes foul. D'Alessandro's kind of interesting. Most guys tend to be pole hitters, but he really loves to go opposite. He really, really loves the deep right center field. As this one's just going to be a slow roller over to Thomas, and that'll be a double play, the second of the day for the Wolverines.
And D'Alessandro, it seemed, once that ball left his bat, he sort of knew it was going to be a double play. We didn't see that full speed that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he knew he caught it off the end of the bat and just wasn't able to get a ton of power behind it.
Skylar Hunter will try to keep the inning alive for the Boilermakers.
And once again, Henry goes from having a man in leadoff position to nobody on with 2 outs.
2 big double plays turned by the Wolverine defense as ball number 1 is thrown Hunter's way. The 1-0 pitch, an off-speeder that connects for a strike to even the count at 1. As now the sun is really illuminating Alexander Field out there.
Yeah, the sun's starting to set. As this one swung on, put down the first base line, and it'll get down in front of Bullock for a double. So Skylar Hunter going opposite, breaking out the Minecraft celebration as he stands on second.
Able to pick up his 9th double of the season. And just a good swing. And it drops in fair territory.
Similar to the Akeo Thomas swing that we saw a couple innings ago from Michigan, just flirting with that foul territory, but able to keep it in play. So now Jackson McGowan has a chance with 2 out and a man in scoring position to add another run to the lead for the Boilermakers.
Tommy Henry was able to breathe after his defense was able to turn 2, and now facing a little bit of a danger here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th with Skylar Hunter board on second on your screen right there.
One inside. Might see McGowan get walked here to bring Nissel up. Although Henry hasn't been super shy about trying to attack the strike zone.
He did walk Jackson McGowan in his last plate appearance, but he threw to him. Skylar Hunter's going to run, and he is able to make it safely. A good steal there by Skylar Hunter, and a good call by Coach Mark Wazakowski.
There's the smart, aggressive base running as we get a great shot at it. Hunter in plenty of time.
Purdue trying to add another run to their 2-run lead here in the bottom of the 5th. And you see Skylar Hunter trying to get in the head of Tommy Henry there.
That's something that the Boilermakers love to do, especially against lefties at third base. They want to really try to extend that lead off. See if they can't force the pitcher to react. And we've seen a couple times this year, pitchers have just missed on those throws over to first or third.
An inside pitch there to McGowan moves the count to 3-1.
Even in one case against Rutgers, Ben Nissel at third was able to steal and take home, something you almost never see. And the Boilermakers, Coach Wazakowski and his staff, they love to be aggressive.
The 3-1. It's sent to third. A misplay there by Kerr, but he's able to recover nicely and make the throw to first in time. And once again, Tommy Henry throws a scoreless inning, his 3rd consecutive, as this BTN standout play by Kerr. The misplay, but he gathers it nicely and makes the throw just in time to conclude the 5th inning. We're headed to the top of the 6th, and Purdue still leads it 2-0. Tanner Andrews returning to the hill for the Purdue Boilermakers, as you see a beautiful shot of Alexander Field there. A lot of local kids attending to see the Boilermakers try to attempt to gain a share of the Big Ten title this weekend. And Michigan trying to silence that as the top of the order comes up once more against Andrews. It's Jordan Wogu.
Wogu has struggled at the plate so far today.
0 for 2 with 2 flyouts.
You know he'd love to try and get on track, as this one's hit hard into the roofing of the press box.
Nice job by the Michigan defense to get out of the inning, and Wogu starts things off nicely offensively in this top of the 6th inning with a base hit and a single, his first of the game.
Yeah, good swing from Wogu, able to just put the ball down in the gap. And a leadoff man aboard now for the Wolverines. As you see Andrews getting ready as Clemente will come to the plate.
Clemente 1 for 2 on the day, trying to help his teammate Wogu into scoring position. Wogu 10 of 13 in stolen bases this season, has some speed even at 6'3", Connor.
Yeah, that's something you don't see too often in baseball. When you're talking about guys that have great speed, you're thinking about your Juwan Harris types at Rutgers, you know, a little 5'8", 5'9" dude who's just really, really quick. But Wogu, like you said, at 6'3", still able to showcase the wheels.
A hard hit foul ball by Clemente will move the count even at 1.
A hard hit ball that had an even harder hit off the back of a vehicle in the parking lot.
That's tough for the fans. The 1-1 is swung on and missed by Clemente.
Wogu looked like he was going to go, but opted just to stay at home.
He's getting quite the lead on first, even though McGowan is playing close to the bag. And that will warrant a throw from Tanner Andrews.
Yeah, I think just a reminder to let Wogu know that he's got to be paying attention. You can see the hand protector, almost looking oven mitt looking deal on his left hand.
A swing and a miss by Dominic Clementi results in out number one as Tanner Andrews is able to pick up his second strikeout of this ball game.
Take a second look at it. Just nice location, low, forcing Clementi to chase.
Yeah, you see the hand protector you were just mentioning, Gunnar. It's like mittens in May.
Has to be sweaty. Can't imagine that thing is ventilated particularly well, as Engelman out at the plate takes the first strike on the pitch.
Must be a climate thing. We've seen Jim Harbaugh come to West Lafayette, and he's decked out in that sweater in 90-degree weather.
Must be a Michigan thing.
The 0-1 swung on and missed by Engelman as he finds himself in an 0-2 hole at the plate. Tanner Andrews looking for back-to-back strikeouts. The 0-2 misses high, but D'Alessandro makes the throw to first to keep Wogu at the plate.
Good throw down the line by D'Alessandro, but Wogu able to get back. Still taking a pretty healthy lead you could see on your screen. And that's going to warrant a throw over.
And that one was closer than I think Wogu expected.
Yeah, last couple times Wogu's not getting great footing on trying to get back to the bag. It looks like he's slipping out underneath himself.
The 1-2. That one's in the dirt. A good stop there from D'Alessandro. Wogu stays at first as the count moves even to 2.
Action in the bullpens now for both teams.
The 2-2 pitch. And another low ball makes the count full. The 3-2 from Tanner Andrews is going to be fouled off by Jonathan Engelman.
Engelman doing a nice job of battling at this at-bat, forcing Andrews to use some pitches.
You talked about it. Once the fatigue sets in with Andrews, who we've seen a few times this season, it seems that almost the wheels fall off.
Yeah, the bottom can fall out quickly for Andrews when he gets tired. Close one there for Wogu. We talked about his footing hasn't been great in that time. Just looked like he lost it.
The Purdue faithful thought they had out number 2.
Jackson McGowan thought they had out number 2 as well.
Count remains full. Wogu still at first.
Wogu's sticking a little closer to the bag, though, this time.
And this is a battle between pitcher and base runner.
Wogu looks like he's getting tired of diving into the dirt.
This jersey will need a little bit more washing tonight than others.
Somewhere there's a manager just shaking their head, asking that he doesn't dive into the dirt again.
Andrews makes the throw to first once more, and that manager is wincing now as another throw made to first to keep Wogu there.
Jason Harstick, the umpire over there at first base, getting quite a bit of work in this at-bat.
Once more, Andrews throwing to McGowan at first. McGowan a hole in his pants there, as he must have slid and ripped the pants. The 3-2, and that one is too tall. Wogu will move to second, and Jonathan Engelman is aboard on first with one out here in the top of the sixth.
Terrific discipline by Jonathan Engelman at the plate. Not losing his focus, especially as Andrews was throwing it over 4 or 5 times against Wogu at first and is able to draw that walk. So now runners in first and second. Michigan, the man in scoring position, and a chance to try to cut this lead in half.
That was a long at bat for Engelman. And to his pleasure, he is aboard on first safely. Really working Andrews' pitch count and really his mind, as he was able to make a lot of throws to first base to keep Wogu where he's at.
Yeah, absolutely. Every throw that you make to first, that does sap the arm strength little by little. Now Jesse Franklin, the man in scoring position, looking to take advantage.
Franklin takes a ball outside, and that will move the count to 2-0. And Delisandro and Coach Steve Holm will come out to the mound.
Starting to see the control get away from Andrews. So Coach Holm and the infield are going to get together and make a decision. There is a man warming up in the bullpen. That's Bo Hostra for the Boilermakers.
We saw Hofstra pitch a little bit against Oral Roberts earlier this week on Tuesday.
In a series this big, though. And Hostra only got about an inning's worth of work. Series this big, you're going to need all hands on deck in the bullpen. And so Andrews will stay out there for at least another pitch. The 2-0 count, working against Franklin.
And if he's able to get out of this inning unscathed, that would be huge for Purdue and Coach Wazakowski.
Well, Purdue could use a double play here like we've seen the Boilermakers hit into a couple times while they're at the plate to try and get out of this inning.
The 2-0 pitch to Franklin. Outside once more. And Tanner Andrews finds himself in a 3-0 hole at the mound. You do not want to load the bases with only one out here.
Certainly don't want to load the bases with a walk. At least force Franklin to put a ball in play.
The 3-0. That one connects, and Andrews is able to stay alive, moving the count to 3-1 now. So you see Engelman on first. And Wogu on second. At the plate, the first baseman, Franklin, facing a 3-1 count. Andrews delivers. A swing and a miss from Franklin makes the count full. Good job from Tanner Andrews, the senior, to work back into this at-bat.
Yeah, especially against Franklin. Franklin leads this Michigan Wolverine team with 45 RBIs on the season. He's a guy who comes up big in these situations. Good pitch from Andrews.
And a big pitch about to happen. The 3-2 fouled off into the parking lot by Jesse Franklin. And And we saw those long at-bats facing Tommy Henry as Purdue was able to work his pitch count up. We're seeing that with the Wolverines here in the top of the 6th. Really making Tanner Andrews earn it.
Purdue still warming up in the bullpen just in case they need to make a change in this inning.
The 3-2 pitch is going to be a strike. Tanner Andrews catches Jesse Franklin looking and picks up out number 2. A huge out for the Purdue defense.
Huge is absolutely right. You take a look at it. Just able to get it in over the plate. A great response by the senior and Andrews. Able to battle back into the count and get the strikeout, but more importantly, keeps everybody at first and second. So now all you need is one more out to get out of the inning with no damage done.
Akeo Thomas returns to the plate. He's 1 for 1 on the day. And he takes a strike looking to start his second at-bat off.
Maybe a second wind here for Andrews after that huge strikeout. Get a little of his confidence back.
The 0-1. Another strike. And Tanner Andrews starting to roll here.
Yeah, and you can see Thomas unhappy that those 2 strikes are basically in the same spot on the outside of the plate, or outside edge of the strike zone.
The 0-2 as Tanner Andrews tries to avoid danger. He delivers, and that one's in the dirt. A good stop from D'Alessandro, who runs out and nearly hands that one back to him.
A great job to get into the dirt and block that ball. D'Alessandro's been exceptional at that this year.
Thomas has 22 RBIs to his name. And he'll take the 1-2. He's going to swing, send it back to the mound, and Tanner Andrews blanks the Wolverines once more. 6 scoreless innings thrown. And Purdue still leads things 2-0. You're watching Big Ten Network. Purdue was able to get out of a sticky situation in the top half of the 6th inning. On Big Ten Network, it's a Big Ten clash between the Wolverines of Michigan and the Boilermakers of Purdue. And Tommy Henry returning to the hill.
Nothing better than 2 pitchers that are dealing right now. Tommy Henry for the Wolverines settling down after a pair of 1-run innings to start the game for the Boilermakers. And then Tanner Andrews for Purdue working himself back from a 3-0 count to pick up a strikeout and get out of a tough situation and keep Purdue on top 2-0 as Ben Nissel leads off in the bottom of the 6th for the Boilermakers.
Nissel takes 2 balls to start his at-bat off as Henry is through 5 innings pitched. He's given up 6 hits, but he's struck out 3 and recovered nicely from giving up 2 early runs. Swung on there by Nissel, and he's going to foul one to move the count to 2-1 now.
Nissel's seeing the ball well over the plate.
A good pitch there from Tommy Henry, evens the count at 2.
Both Andrews and Henry really working that outside part of the zone.
We'll see Nissel, Everts, and Oland for the Purdue offense in this bottom half of the 6th. And Nissel is retired, struck out swinging there as Henry picks up his 4th strikeout of this ball game.
And Henry just continues to look like he's getting better and better with each at-bat. The longer he's out on the mound. As now Nick Everts will try his luck against the lefty.
Everett swings at the first pitch he sees, and he's going to drive it over Jack Blomgren's head at shortstop for a base hit.
Great job by Everett. Able to get a good piece of it and put it down in the gap out there in center field. Great swing. So Everett's aboard on first with one out. Now Alec Olin coming to the plate.
Olin 1 for 2 on the day. And he tends to come up large in these situations for the Purdue offense. Olin, during that 13-game winning streak, he batted .417 and had 12 RBIs.
And he was a huge reason why Purdue was able to go on that winning streak, especially in where he is in the lineup, batting 7th, really working as a de facto second leadoff man for the Boilermakers.
He takes strike 1 on an off-speed pitch from Henry. Now Henry ready to deliver again. This one swung and sent down the third base line to Kerr, who makes the throw to first. But Oland is able to move Nick Everts to second base. And now Evan Warden with a runner in scoring position, facing 2 outs, trying to redeem himself after striking out against Tommy Henry in his last at-bat.
As we're going to have a meeting between Salter and Henry with 2 away and a man standing on second for Purdue.
Coach Wazakowski taking the time, and he's going to talk to Evan Warden.
Yeah, Warden needs to be smart at the plate here. This is a big chance for Purdue to add another run. Henry's really looked good ever since the second inning.
Warden now will step to the plate for his third at bat. He's 1 for 2 on the day. As you see Everts begin his lead, he's 4 of 5 in stolen bases this season. Has a bit of speed. An off-speed pitch connects once more for Tommy Henry, and he takes the lead in the count at 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Swung on, sent down the third base line by Warden. Kerr making the throw. And out number 3 is secured by the Michigan Wolverines. They blank the Boilermakers for the 4th consecutive inning as Tommy Henry starting to connect on the mound. Purdue still leads 2-0. You're watching Big Ten Network. And now the top half of the order coming up as you see Blomgren able to take Andrews' first pitch, and Andrews angry on the hill.
Yeah, I'm
giving up that one pitch single.
Yeah, I think he missed his mark. Not happy with himself.
Jordan Wogu, who was able to get a hit in his last at-bat, is 1 for 3 on the day. And he takes an off-speed pitch for strike number 1. Purdue bullpen is hot and getting warmed up as Andrews is through 7 so far.
And this has been huge for the Boilermakers that Andrews has been able to go 7 innings.
His longest outing this season was a loss to Tulane. Purdue lost that game 1-0. He threw 7 2/3 innings and wasn't able to get the run support he needed.
I don't think
D'Alessandro makes the throw to keep Blomgren at first.
I don't think Purdue would like to see him go 7 2/3. Well, I mean, you'd love to see him go all 9. But when you've got a guy like Ross Leonard Such a great, terrific closer in the bullpen. You'd imagine they'd like to maybe get a setup guy in there and then let Lerner seal the deal.
This pitch by Wogu is fouled off into the stands. And the count stays at 1-2.
Purdue does have a lefty warming up in the bullpen now. Hofstra had been warming up the last couple innings, but just the lone lefty working in there now. As you can see, can't see him in frame. Appears to have finished warming up, just kind of standing by the door right now, the bullpen.
And I'm sure we'll see Hofstra later this weekend for the Purdue defense.
Purdue would love to be able to use his few members of the bullpen today, as it is a long 3-game series. Like to keep as many arms available. The same for Michigan as well. You'd love to see Criswell give you another inning or two, as Wogu's going to go down. A great pitch.
Andrews, 5 strikeouts to his name today as he catches Wogu looking, and it catches the bottom half of the strike zone. Coach Holm is coming out to talk to his ace, and that looks to be it for Tanner Andrews. He went 7 1/3, gave up 6 hits, struck out 5. Tanner Andrews' last outing here at Alexander Field is a solid one. Can't complain with no runs on the scoreboard given up through 7 1/3 innings.
Yeah, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. A tremendous way to cap a 4-year career in Tanner Andrews for the Purdue Boilermakers, taking the mound for the final time at Alexander Stadium. But now comes in another senior in Ross Leonard, and if you're a Purdue fan, you know who Ross Leonard is. He's one of the best closers in the country. He's got 12 saves on the year. He's got a 2.54 ERA, making his 25th appearance in 28 1/3 innings pitched, 31 strikeouts, only 20 hits, 8 earned runs on the year. Leonard has been tremendous since he walked on campus last season for the Boilermakers.
He closes the door on teams as he makes a throw to first to keep Blomgren on first. He's facing the designated hitter and Dominic Clementi, and Clementi 1 for 3 on the day. Leonard he kind of struggled on Tuesday against Oral Roberts, was able to get 2 quick outs, and then a bit of an errant throw by Evan Warden. But Leonard says no to the Michigan offense and turns a double play to retire the top of the 8th inning. We're headed to the Boilermakers side of the 8th as Purdue blanks Michigan once more. It's 3-0 Purdue.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Purdue on top, 3-0. Much in part to this man right here. Ross Leonard comes in, gets the double play. The first of the day for the Boilermakers, and comes at a great time. Another scoreless inning put up by Michigan, 8 straight. And this is a Michigan offense that came in to today's game averaging almost 8 runs per game in Big Ten play, currently being held scoreless. As Criswell's back out for another inning of work for the Wolverines, this time leading off, it's Milo Beam getting his first at-bat for Purdue.
And Leonard able to recover from his last outing. He gave up a few runs to Oral Roberts. We were just about to get to that, and then the Boilermakers were able to make a great defensive play and get 2 outs.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting ready to talk about if Warden doesn't miss on that throw, it's a totally different outing for Ross Leonard. But right there, his defense comes through for him as Powers and Shipley team up to get the double play.
2-1 is the count as the lefty Milo Beam takes on the right-handed relief pitcher in Criswell. Beam showed bunt, and that ball will go for a strike from Criswell.
Beam, a guy who's struggled at the plate this season, only batting .200 on the year. Much more of a lay down a bunt and try to beat out a throw type of guy.
He takes a ball high, and that will make the count full. Trying to get aboard a leadoff position here.
Be interesting for Beam next season with Alec Olin departing in right field to see if maybe either he or Nissel shifts over to right to try and add some consistency, as he will draw the walk to lead off.
And now Coach Wazikowski for the Boilermakers will make another change. Instead of Nick Everts, it will be Evan Kennedy coming to the plate. And in Kennedy's last at bat, it was a spark, Connor.
Yeah, Evan Kennedy's last time hit the plate, a home run, the first of his collegiate career. You and I talked about it. He actually had a quote that we thought was pretty amusing. He didn't hit any home runs during his time at Purdue, he said, but he does have one as an alumni because, of course, he got his diploma at the game before the game on Tuesday and spent that day then able to get the home run. So now he comes in with a runner on first in a 3-run lead, looking to try to add to it.
He takes a pitch inside for strike number 1. Now Criswell will look to keep Beam on first. He's cognizant of the base runner. And now he's going to step off the rubber. Criswell taking his time on the mound.
Yeah, he's very deliberate. Wants to make sure that he's comfortable. Beam does have 4 stolen bases on the season.
Kennedy tries to lay down a bunt, and it's going to go foul down the third base line. And Beam will retreat back to first, and Kennedy will return home as the count moves to 0-2 in Criswell's favor on the mound.
And this is great awareness and great coaching by Coach Wazikowski in Purdue, because you've got Milo Beam, who's very, very quick, standing at first. If Kennedy's able to successfully lay down something and get Beam to second, now you got Alec Olin coming to the plate, and Olin's as hot as anybody on your roster. Anything into the outfield will allow Beam to score from second.
Kennedy late on that swing, but he's able to create some contact and send it foul to stay alive at 0-2. Criswell checking on Beam at first. And now he will deliver the 0-2. A swing and a miss from Kennedy. Beam running. And the throw is broken up as Beam slid into second.
Yeah, nice job by Beam, just trying to catch a piece of the plate, able to break that ball up as Ingram couldn't hold on to it.
And as you see Beam slide in, he's not on the base right there. And he just gets the hand on as the ball is knocked loose like you mentioned.
So it's not quite the same way that I think the coaching staff wanted to draw it up with the bunt, but you are able to get Beam to second now with Olin, one of your best bats, one of your best contact hitters coming to the plate. Trying to add another run.
Once again, Criswell will step off the rubber and we'll try and regroup here. That pitch got away from Criswell, and a good catch by Salter behind home plate. As Olin takes the lead in the count at 0-1 early on.
Olin's going to step out with the time.
High pressure situation as Purdue looks to pillow their 3-0 lead. And Michigan trying to do everything they can to not allow Purdue to increase that lead any further. A good pitch there from Criswell. Evens the count up at 1.
Criswell's been really, really good in relief. We talked about it. He's a deliberate man on the mound, but he's throwing good pitches and hitting his spots. Hard to argue with the results.
The 1-1. And Olin's going to foul one by his feet. That'll push the count to 1-2 now. On deck is Evan Warden. And Beam stands on second. The freshman Criswell has the lead in the count at 1-2. Check on Beam at the bottom of your screen. Now he'll deliver. That one gets away. And Beam is able to move to third.
Beam with a good heads up. You can see this one just gets away from Salter. No sliding necessary, able to get to third standing up. So now anything fair, or really anything out into the outfield, should score Beam.
Scored as a wild pitch against Jeff Criswell to move Beam to third. The 2-2. That's popped up by Oland.
Back over.
Going to catch the netting before the mitt of Criswell. Count will
stay at 2.
Stay even at 2.
So now Olin's got a chance. Like we said, anything out into the outfield is good. You can get something out there, allow Beam to tag up and come home. Add another run to this 3-0 game. Purdue trying to make a statement in game 1 of this 3-game series.
The 2-2 pitch. An off-speeder is just tall. And Criswell pushes the count to full now.
Also an important scheduling reminder for games 2 and 3. They'll be carried on the Big Ten Network. First pitch at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and then on Saturday, first pitch at 1.
Should be a good one and a lot on the line. Criswell, the 3-2. He gets Oland to swing and miss. And Criswell picks up his third strikeout of his relief pitch.
Criswell's done a phenomenal job of getting Purdue to chase the ball up out of the zone. That's the second or third time we've seen the Boilermakers get a strike, really just trying to chase up after it. And that can be the most frustrating thing, because you know that you need to stay disciplined, but you can see that ball at eye level. You really just want to try to get on top of it, and it's a hard pitch to get to. Credit Criswell. He's done a really good job of coming out of the bullpen and keeping things settled down for Michigan.
My apologies, but that was Criswell's fourth strikeout. He's faced 6 Purdue batters and 4 strikeouts. Has done a great job in relief for the starter and Tommy Henry. Trying to shut the door on Beam at third. Warden sends one deep foul. And that evens the count at 1, as Warden is 1 for 3 on the day.
And Warden would love to get a piece of this one, put it in fair territory, and allow Beam to come in from third. You never want to leave a base runner stranded in scoring position.
The 1-1, a swing and a miss from Warden. Makes the count 1-2. As Warden steps out the batter's box trying to regroup after fanning at that pitch. An off-speed pitch connects from Criswell. He strikes out Warden and strikes out the last two batters in this bottom of the 8th inning. Michigan strands a Purdue base runner on third, and now they look to try and make a comeback in the top of the 9th. Ross Leonard back on the hill for Purdue, and he is trying to blank Michigan and throw a shutout against the Wolverines, along with Tanner Andrews, who went 7 1/3. He throws ball number 1 low to the 3-hitter and Jonathan Engelman. And Engelman is 0 for 2 on the day.
Heart of the lineup for Michigan's going to get a crack at Leonard, but these are the final 3 outs right now that Michigan has, as they do trail 3-0. They're going to have to find something going in this at-bat.
Engelman batting .367 on the year, has not reached, he's reached base once on a walk, but has not been able to get a hit against the Purdue pitching staff. It'll be Engelman, Franklin, and Thomas. Engelman sending one foul, and that pushes the count to 1-2. We talked about how Michigan averages around 7 to 8 runs a game. They've been stifled by the Purdue pitching staffs today.
Yeah, it really started with Tanner Andrews. Did a tremendous job going 7 1/3 innings. 0 earned runs given up, only 6 hits. And Leonard has come in and done a nice job so far. That one just misses. Make the count 2-2. I think a lot of people thought that one was in the zone. Predominantly pro Boilermaker crowd tonight. So 2-2 count.
The 2-2 delivery. Swung on, a rope sent down the third base line, but Warden makes the snag. And the Boilermakers are 2 outs away from their 3rd Big Ten shutout of the season.
Hard hit ball just into the glove of Evan Warden there at third. If you're Engelman, obviously you don't love the result, but that's a good swing. You made good contact. So now Jesse Franklin will come to the plate.
Franklin 1 for 3 on the day. Was able to pick up a hit in his last at bat. And he swings and misses at that Leonard pitch. Leonard just straight up dealing.
Yeah, Leonard's one of the best, coming in and closing the door on opponents.
A hit for Michigan.
And Franklin able to get the single.
Franklin sent that one to right field, and Olin nearly threw it to first to try and get him, but he holds off.
Nice job by Franklin, able to get a good piece of it. We did see against Oral Roberts that they were able to have some success against Leonard. Got a couple base hits, but base hits aren't what Michigan needs right now. They need runs.
Akeo Thomas to the plate, and he takes strike 1 looking as he makes his 3rd at bat. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Check swinged, but it's called strike to make the count 0-2. Leonard trying to recover after giving up a hit to Jesse Franklin. Akeo Thomas taking his time. Now he will get into the batter's box.
Already got one away, and he's got Franklin standing on first. Michigan needs 3 runs to tie.
Thomas swings on and drives it to left, and Milo Beam is coming under it. He makes the catch for out number 2, and Michigan is down to their final out, and it will be Christian Bullock.
Lerner doing a nice job of just getting Thomas to lift one into left. So
more importantly, it keeps Franklin on first.
Yeah, standing at first. And so like you said, down to the final out, Michigan trying to keep this game going. Purdue on top, 3-0.
Bullock, the lefty. It comes down to his bat to stay alive as he's going to chop one foul down the first base line. 0-1 now the count as Franklin stands on first. Bullock at the plate facing Ross Lerner. A chopper. Warden with a great glove play. He makes the throw to first, and the Boilermakers take the game 3-0 and complete the shutout against the Michigan Wolverines. They take game 1 here at Alexander Field as Ross Lerner turns the lights out on the Wolverines.
We've talked about it really since the winning streak began. Purdue will go as far as their bullpen will take them tonight. Tanner Andrews was an absolute star on the mound. Ross Lerner comes in, does what Ross Lerner does, gets outs, nothing fancy. Like you said, great job by the Boilermakers to get the shutout against a very good Michigan team. So now both teams heading to game 2, Purdue trying to take the series, but Michigan also looking to try to get something positive going.